All right, welcome to another episode of The Headlinesman. Let's get right to your 4A state playoff bracket preview. But first, let's talk about the playoffs a little bit. It is my favorite time of the year, but the last couple of weeks we've had a couple teams get eliminated, have some teams have a rough time. So here's a message from Jim Mora just for them.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Now, let's focus on the teams that are remaining. So there's 16 of them in the 4A state playoff. And let's start out with our first game. First game of the bracket is Salem Hills at Park City. First, offensively for Salem Hills, don't overthink it. Run the football. Do what you've been doing well all year, which is quarterback run game, using a dual threat quarterback to get some big plays in the run game, and really just taking it to your opponents. That's what's worked well this year statistically for them. And I expect that to continue as they play Park City on Friday. Now, defensively for Salem, they need to make sure that they limit big plays in the run game for Park City. And based on the defensive players that they have, I think they're going to be able to do this. And they're going to come out and they're going to impose their will with their front seven on the defensive side of the ball. Park City, let's talk about what they need to do to win this game on Friday. Defensively, they just need to stop that run game that I just talked about from Salem. Offensively, they have a wide receiver, Mark McCurdy. They need to get him the ball early and often and able to get some points on the board in that first half and really make it hard for Salem to run that game plan of just running the football, having a ball control offense. My pick in this game is Salem Hills in the upset. They're going to go up to Park City, and I really feel like they're going to impose their will both offensively and defensively, and they're going to pull out the game late in the fourth quarter. Next game is Snow Canyon at Skyview. First, I want to talk about Snow Canyon's keys to the game. Defensively, they need to make Skyview throw the ball to beat them. So that means just shutting down the run game. Really load that box with 8, maybe even 9 guys, and really force Skyview to throw the ball to beat them. Offensively, they need some consistency offensively in order to score on a very stingy defense that Skyview throws out there. If they're consistent and they maintain a balance, they're going to be able to make enough plays to get some points on the board. Really what it comes down to is if they can get enough on, like I said, that stingy defense that Skyview has. All right, my keys for Skyview, really they just need to do what they do best on both sides of the ball, and that is running the football on offense and playing great physical defense on the other side of the ball. I really like what Skyview does up front. Their front seven are really good, and they're going to impose their will. And that's why I'm picking Skyview to win this game. And I don't believe it's going to be that close of a football game. Next game in the bracket is Green Canyon at Dixie. My keys for Green Canyon in winning this game is they need to pound the rock. They need to come out aggressively running the football from the first minute of the game. Really put Dixie in a place where they have to stop the run. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they just need to do the opposite. They just need to stop Dixie's run game in order to have a chance to win this game. Dixie, their keys to winning the game is they need to stop Green Canyon's running back, Brett Gassaway, from having a monster game. If they're able to do that, it's going to make it really hard for Green Canyon to put some points on the board. Offensively for Dixie, their quarterback, Reggie Graff, needs to have a great game like he's been having the last couple of weeks. If he's able to do that, if he's able to make plays with his feet and with his arm, get some points on the board early, it's going to be really hard for Green Canyon to compete in this game. My pick in this one is Dixie, and I don't think it'll be a close one. Next game in the bracket is Ogden at Spanish Fork. This is going to be a great game. I want to start out with the keys for Ogden. First, on the offensive side of the ball, they go as their quarterback, Bo DeVries, goes. When he has a great game, they have a great game. If he struggles at all, it's going to be a rough day for them on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, Ogden needs to sell out to stop the pass game for Spanish Fork. They need to drop as many as they can in coverage and really force Spanish Fork to run the football. Spanish Fork, defensively, they need to put pressure on the passer. They need to bring some extra pressure when they can, really make it difficult for them to throw the football. And if they do so, I think they're going to have a great day on Friday. Offensively, they need to attack the middle of the field in the pass game, really put some pressure on that defensive secondary. If they're able to do that on Friday, they should come out victorious. Now, my pick in this game is Spanish Fork. I think Spanish Fork's going to come out. It's going to be a good game, close game, but I think Spanish Fork has enough in the end to get the win. Next game in the bracket is Mountain Crest at Desert Hills. My keys for Mountain Crest in this game are to run the football. It's worked for you so far. You're averaging over 5 yards a carry on the year. Just keep doing what's working and really put pressure on Desert Hills front seven. And if you do so, you're going to have a great day on Friday. Defensively, Mountain Crest needs to force Desert Hills into making some mistakes, making some turnovers, especially in the pass game. And for Desert Hills, they need to limit Mountain Crest quarterback Brady Hall on the plays that he makes with his feet as well as with his arm. They just need to really focus in on him and make sure he has a rough day. On the offensive side of the ball, they need to get the ball to Kina Taufa. If they get the ball to him, they're going to have a great night offensively. They're going to put up some points, and they're going to come away with a win. My pick in this game is Desert Hills to win a close one. Next game in the bracket is Tooele at Orem. This is a game that could get ugly really quick, but most of the games that Orem has played in this year have been that way. They are the best team in 4A, and I don't think it's really that close. But let's talk about what Tooele has to do in order to be competitive in this game. Tooele has to come out with a mentality of stopping Puka Nakua. No one's been able to do it so far, so good luck with that. I don't know how to do it. So good luck. Second point, offensively, they need to be able to make some big plays against a very stout and stingy Orem defense. Again, that's something that hasn't been done a lot this year. The teams that have done the best against Orem this year are teams from outside the state of Utah and Bingham and Spanish Fork. And those are offensive football teams that are all really, really good offensive football teams. And I don't think Tooele has the firepower to be that competitive in this game. Now, on the other side, like I pointed out, Orem is going to have probably the best 3 or 4 or 5 players in this game, but those top 2 are the ones that make the difference. That's Cooper Laga and Puka Nakua. Puka Nakua is the USC commit. He's one of the top receivers in the country, so look for him to have a big game. Cooper Laga has been having a great year again, accounting for 46 touchdowns, I think is what he's up to now. I expect him to have another great game, and I think it's going to be really hard for Tooele to keep up with that type of offense. Defensively, they need to stop Tooele's run game, and that shouldn't be too difficult of a task for them, seeing how I think that they have one of the better defenses in the 4A classification. My pick in this game, if you can't tell, is Orem. I also think Orem's probably going to win a 4A state championship, so don't be surprised when it comes up later. All right, next game in the bracket is Mountain View at Stansbury Park. Stansbury is a team that I really like. They've got Silas Young, who is their fullback, and Austin Woodhouse. They run a triple option attack. Look for them to just run the ball all over the field. And I really believe that they're going to have another great game and make it really difficult for Mountain View to get the win. Now, on the other side of the ball, Stansbury needs to make sure that they're getting pressure on the quarterback and really making it hard for Mountain View to throw the ball down the field and get some big plays. Now, Mountain View, on the other hand, they need to stop that run of Stansbury. They need to sell out to do so and really force Stansbury to try to throw the ball to beat them. Offensively, Mountain View needs to make plays in the pass game. They really need to be able to get the ball down the field, and the chunk plays are the best way to do that. My pick in this game is Stansbury, and I really think that it's going to come down to those 2 players I mentioned, Silas Young and Austin Woodhouse. Last game in the 4A bracket is Pineview at Logan. I think this will actually be one of the more competitive games on the weekend, so let's dive right in with the keys for Pineview. My first key for Pineview is they need to put pressure on Logan's quarterback, Johnny Parkinson, and really get pressure on the quarterback and, so to speak, cut the head off the snake. Do everything you can to make sure that they are not functional on that side of the ball. Now, offensively, they need to run the football and have a balanced passing attack and really make it difficult for Logan to stop them with that balanced attack. Now, for Logan, offensively, big plays are the key. They're going to have to make some big plays throwing the ball down the field. Johnny Parkinson's going to have a great game in order for them to come out with the victory against a pretty good Pineview football team. On the defensive side of the ball, they need to make Pineview one-dimensional. The best way to do this with Pineview is to focus on taking away their run game and really put as many guys in that box as possible and force them to throw the ball to beat you. Now, if Logan's able to do those two things, I really think they have a good chance of winning this football game. And in fact, that is why I am picking them to beat Pineview in this matchup. All right, so that does it for our 4A playoff preview. If you haven't already, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, give me a like. You'll get videos in the future, especially the recap video for the game I'll be at on Friday, which is still a secret. I'll announce on Facebook and Twitter.